Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. You join me down here on the very cold and almost icy Newcastle quayside the day after that game against PSG, after that result, after that penalty shout against PSG. I thought I'd come on and basically talk about all the things that I didn't talk about in yesterday's instant reaction after the game. If you saw that one, normally I try to stay cool, calm and collected in my instant reactions. I think I've pretty much whinged for about 8 minutes about the penalty decision, which I think most of us did. But there is still, other things to talk about. Try and have a little bit of perspective on the situation. Talk about the fact that the Newcastle Owners, they didn't keep quiet after the game. They made their feelings known. UEFA themselves, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out and officially say that they got it wrong. They've all but said that they got it wrong. I'll tell you how they've done that in this video. Let's talk about the players who fought tooth and nail in that game, only to be let down by the officiating right at the end. And what next for Newcastle? What does this mean for us in this Christmas period, in this Champions League and Europa League? We will talk about it all in this video. So if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and drop a subscribe on the channel. I know loads of you guys watch my videos pretty much every day at the moment, but still haven't subscribed. Be sure to do so you don't miss out on any future videos. And as I say, we have a very, very busy Christmas period coming up with a whole lot of football, so you guys don't want to miss out. And it's a funny one, isn't it? Because it's not too many teams that will go up against PSG away from home, against an Mbappe, who, by the way, had a really good game. We'll get onto the Newcastle players in a moment, but they had a lot of chances. Nick Pope had a blinder. There's not many teams that will walk away from that game with a point, with a draw, and then be disappointed about it. But that's the way it is. That's what happens when a last-minute goal goes in. That's what happens when there's an injustice around a penalty. You feel hard done to, and that's how the fans feel right now. But before the game even started, had you offered me the draw, I would have taken it. And we always talk about, not a team that wins or a team that tries. Honestly, you can look at some of those players there. 17-year-old Miley making his, a Champions League start. I thought Livramento was fantastic. Nick Pope and goal, my word, some of those saves he pulled out. But we fought throughout that game. I think that's a game to be proud of. I don't think that's a game that we should look at and go, we didn't get the win. And that's certainly how I, to be honest, partly still feel right now. But you have to look at it with a bit of a wider lens and realise that, that was always going to be a tough game. I don't think many people thought we'd have a chance in this game. I don't think many people thought we'd have a chance in this group. We are in the group of death. They call it the group of death for a reason, and we'll come on to it in a moment. But that's why all four teams are, still in the fight. Nobody's out of it just yet. It's going to be very, very tough going into the last game, and Newcastle will be relying on results from other teams. But we've kept ourselves alive. On a different day, we could have gone and lost against PSG, and it would have, been game over. We smashed them at home. We gave them a real good go at their place. Really, it's just the Dortmund games that have kind of let it slip for us in the end. But we still have AC Milan, and we are still within a shout. So yes, as I say, it does feel like a loss, but it wasn't. It was a draw. You could even go as far to say that Isak could have had himself a few goals. We had multiple chances. Yes, so did they, and Nick Pope did a very good job of keeping them out. But yes, we gave it a good go. We really pushed ourselves hard, and it was great to see Eddie Howe handle it with the way you'd expect Eddie Howe to do. I'm sure there was plenty of Newcastle fans who were having a little bit of a whinge last night. I know I was definitely one of them, but I think Eddie Howe and the team held their head high. I think Eddie Howe possibly went as far as he would ever go in an interview to basically stand there and go, yeah, it was the wrong decision. They have got it wrong. It's never a penalty. It's funny actually, because I've seen some people online saying, well, maybe Eddie Howe should have whinged. Maybe more people would have paid attention to Newcastle after that, had Eddie Howe and spit his dummy out the pram. And I get where you're coming from with that, but it's not something that I agree with. I think that I like to hold Eddie Howe or our side to a standard. And, after seeing what happened with Arteta and, the Arsenal fans still whinging 30 days later, that isn't the team we are, and that's not who I think the Geordies are either. And we don't have to be that way. You know, I've not seen a single person online who's come out and agreed with the decision that's been made, if anything, to kind of stand there and be a little bit, I don't know what the word is, humble about it, and say, yeah, look, we had a really good game, we played really well, we've been screwed over, and, you know, the world can see that. You know, you don't have to, you know, cry into a river. You know, it is seen by the world. Eddie Howe doesn't need to tell you about the injustice. Everybody can see the injustice. You know, you don't need to take it to that level. And as I mentioned at the start of the video, I think UEFA have all but admitted that they got it wrong themselves. The VAR guys who were working last night on that decision, who effectively changed the referee's mind, which again is what blows my mind even further. The fact that the referee actually gave the decision that he believes was right on the field, was even booking PSG players for crowding them, coming over, trying to make, you know, that's something I don't like either. They're actually trialling a new rule where it can only be captains who go to the referee, and anybody else who approaches the ref will get yellow carded. That's actually being trialled right now, I think, at grassroots or low levels of the pyramid. I think that will be a good... I don't know if it's too far to say yellow card on everyone, but like as soon as it becomes that crowding situation, so frustrating, so annoying. PSG were doing it all night. And the ref was being brave. He was handing out yellows. Funny enough, that Ramos that we were linked with once upon a time wasn't afraid to go ahead and give him a yellow card. After all that, then the VAR, get him to go back and look at the decision again, and then he goes ahead and changes his mind. It's total madness. But anyway, that VAR team, they've been pulled off VAR duties tonight. So UEFA have not publicly come out and said, yes, we got it wrong, but they have publicly showed the fact that they have now decided that that VAR team is getting pulled off tonight's game because of the controversy caused last night. I mean, if they stood by that decision, if they agreed with the decision, if they was standing by their employees and the referees, why would they pull them off tonight? So I think for me, they've all but pretty much agreed to the fact that, yeah, he got it wrong. And there you go. And as I say, the Newcastle Owners, they've been speaking out a little bit over the last few days. Actually came out and made a couple of comments on Twitter, which I think caught a few people off guard. And this wasn't after the PSG game. This was after the last couple of games where we beat Arsenal, we beat Chelsea 4-1. You know, he's come out and said we need to get behind the team. We need to be louder in the stadium. With the fans going, hang on, I thought we did quite well this week. I'm not sure we deserved that. But he did actually then come out again and like semi-apologise for it, basically saying, you know, hopefully people know that's not what I meant. And I personally didn't really think too much into it or was particularly bothered by it. I think it was maybe just a jumble of words that came out in the wrong order. But yeah, I think there was a few fans who were like, hang on. And then in fairness to him, he was big enough to come out pre-PSG game and say, you know, that's not what I meant. Hopefully nobody thought that's how I meant it. And then to add to that, he was active last night after the game as well. I think it was the Champions League had posted Mbappe scores. Specsavers, as they do, had put a little comment on there saying, would you like an appointment, you know, on Twitter after the game against PSG, you know, not scared to hold it back, and commented underneath saying, yes, please get them an appointment ASAP. So there you go. That's what happens with, you know, that's what we want. We want owners who come out, talk to the fans, be a part of it. What you can get is, you know, great positivity from it, you know, backing the fans, I guess, in the way, you know, a bit of a joke around, as well as some serious to it, you know, get them an appointment at Specsavers. But then on the other side of it, you can also have, well, they've posted something that maybe the fans do and don't agree with. I think ultimately it's a big positive compared to being in the dark for, you know, 15 years with the previous one where we heard nothing. I'd rather have a couple of miscommunications here and there, but generally know where we stand than be totally in the dark with that. So yes, big up the players, big up Eddie Howe, big up the owners, and now we move on. You know, we got to take our next steps in terms of Champions League. What's going on with that one? Well, Dortmund top with 10, PSG 7, us and Milan down on 5, and this was pretty much what a lot of people were talking about before we even went into this. A lot of the talk was, you know, well, if we get the draw, then we can do this, then we can do that. Obviously, the hope was we'd have the win, and we were, you know, a game away and a step into those Champions League knockout rounds, but unfortunately it's not. Instead, we are relying on the results from other teams. Effectively, what we need now is for Dortmund to smash PSG in their final game. We beat AC Milan in our final game, and we head through to the Champions League spots. If that doesn't work out that way, if PSG go on to win, then really it's between us and AC Milan for that Europa game. Now the hope is, if the lads needed any motivation as it was, I'm sure this will be the exact motivation to go out in that final Champions League game against AC Milan at home and basically just do better than they do to pick up that third place spot. We're both on 5 points each. The head-to-head thing, well, that's a question actually, because if we drew away and we drew at home, does it go to goals? I'll have to check that. We need to win, basically. We need to go beat AC Milan. We need to beat AC Milan. That guarantees us at minimum Europa League, and in the hope that we could grab some Champions League. But as I've said, it's a busy period, and that's the thing. We've got Manchester United on Saturday, then it's Everton, then it's Spurs, then it's Milan, then it's Fulham, then it's Chelsea, then it's Luton, then it's Forest. We've pretty much got, well, it's 2 games a week, or 3 games a week if you want to call it that way, but from now till the end of the season, it's going to be busy. We played the same 11 players against Chelsea at the weekend as we did last night. Those same 11 players, by the looks of things, better get some good night's sleep, because they've got Manchester United on Saturday. The bench was 3 goalkeepers and youngsters. I don't know what changes we'll have available. We need to get some players back from injury quick before we head into all of this. I mean, one thing you can say is that, again, what gives them a bigger motivation against AC Milan is the motivation against Manchester United this weekend. It's an 8 o'clock at night kickoff. People, the Geordies will be on the booze all day long, few beers in. Let's get in there. Let's make it rowdy as hell. Let's take our frustration out of Manchester United. I mean, that's a huge positive, but when we've had the same players play 3 times in a week with basically no subs the other night. You know, I think Isak, you're looking at him, he was crawling by the end of it. You know, that's one thing that I think could undo us in these next few games. I'm just praying that the adrenaline, the hype and the hope is what pushed us through these next few, and then hope that we can get a Wilson, a Botman and a few others back soon as well. So there you go, guys. That was a little bit more of a deep breath chat as opposed to the one I had last night. I mean, I had a fantastic time in the pub with the boys, and it was a great game up until those final moments, and you know, we'll hold our head high and we push on. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. If you have sat and watched this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Hope you have enjoyed it. Plenty more to come in the world of Newcastle very soon. I'll be there on Saturday. As I say, I'll be out early, so it should be a good vlog, I've no doubt. So subscribe, don't miss that one, and I'll catch you later.